as I sit down to start filming, I realize that like my whiteboard might be completely useless until I get a better one, but I still want to include it because the original idea included a whiteboard and I don't want mine to feel left out. So today we are going to be talking about one of my favorite episodes of Black Mirror, the original USS Callister. I have not watched the second one, so I have no preconceived notions about it. I just know the very original episode, and that's the one we're going to talk about. And this is going to be my series that I start talking about my favorite Black Mirror episodes. Not all of them, just my favorites. And if you are new to the channel, welcome. Welcome to the clown car. If you are coming back to the channel, welcome back. This is a little bit of a different video than what I normally do, but I kind of forgot why I wanted to start this channel, which is to do whatever I want with this channel and to make whatever kind of content that I want. And part of that content is talking about the things that I love, and I love certain episodes of Black Mirror, very much so. So we're going to talk about USS Callister today. And I hope you guys enjoy. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe, leave a like, leave a comment, and I really appreciate you guys clicking on this video out of all the other videos in the internet. Thank you so much. Let's get into it. Also, trigger warning for spoilers. There is going to be a ton in this video. I'm just going to talk about basically the entire episode from start to finish and give my opinions on it throughout because this is one of my favorite episodes, but Robert Daly as a character is very fascinating and he also scares me very much. Okay, so spoiler warning, do not watch this. If you have not watched USS Callister and you are interested in watching USS Callister, I would recommend going and watching it because it is a really good episode. Every episode that I'm going to talk about on this channel, I highly recommend going and watching on your own before you watch my video because I'm probably going to do a very poor job at actually explaining it. But if I make it sound interesting to you, maybe you'll go watch it anyway and enjoy it. We open up in an elevator where we meet Robert Daly. Now, he is a very socially awkward man. He doesn't really stand up for himself, and he's not at all respected by anybody in his office. When he goes to check in, his badge declines, and Elena, the receptionist, tells him, "You're supposed to renew on the 1st of the month," and he forgot, but she sighs and she lets him in and is just, "You're welcome," about it, and doesn't even look up from her phone during the entire interaction, right? He trips on a bag when he is walking to his office, and the colleague's bag that he trips on, helps him up, but then fakes a nut shot at him, swings his arm between his legs, obviously doesn't hit him, but that is the CEO, the second CEO of the company. Why are you doing that? I could never imagine fake swinging anywhere at my manager. Fake slap, fake punch, fake push, any of it. You're insane for doing that to your CEO. But it's because not only does Robert Daly not really stand up for himself or tell anybody off, but James Walton, the second CEO, treats him the exact same way. He doesn't tell anybody off, and he actually treats Robert significantly worse than anybody else in the company. And this is the man that he started the company with. Without Robert Daly's coding, the company that they work for, that they are the managers of, not managers, the CEOs of, wouldn't even exist. The company that Robert Daly and James Walton have started together is called USS Callister, and it's one of the few things that Robert Daly was allotted to have when making the company. He was able to name the company after the spaceship that is a part of a show that he is absolutely obsessed with. Now, we get to see that he's obsessed with this when we meet Nanette Cole. Nanette Cole is a new employee at the company, and she finds Robert Daly's office to kind of gush to him about how much she admires his code. The fact that his code was able to make this virtual reality system that is even more intense than a VR headset. It is a virtual reality system where you take this little thing, you put it on your head, and it just sends you to a virtual reality where you are physically experiencing whatever it is. And for this specific game, it's space travel. Are we surprised? It's space travel, it's space fighting, it's visiting other planets. It's exactly what Space Force was, but in a more modernized version for people to enjoy. That is what the USS Callister Company game is. And now Nanette Cole, who is also a coder, is on the team and really excited to be working with Robert Daly. So she notices all of the Space Force stuff and realizes, oh, USS Callister, that's what the company is named after. And Robert Daly has every VHS, every DVD, posters, he's got all the collectibles, both in his office and at his home, which, you know what, heaven forbid a man have a hobby. Heaven forbid a man have a hobby. You know what? If he wants to collect his Space Force stuff, let him collect his Space Force stuff, because I'm sure there are people that collect actual like Star Trek stuff to that same degree. And if you are someone that collects Star Trek stuff to that same degree, I appreciate you. I admire you. Hey there, editing me. It's actually Space Fleet. It's Space Fleet. It's Space Fleet. It is. Like I said, this is going to be a very sloppy explanation because I have not watched the episode in a little while. I just wanted to talk about the things that I remembered and why I liked the episode so much. But Robert would have put me right into the simulation. I would have been assimilated. I would have been digitally cloned. It is Space Fleet. The name of the company in the game is different. I apologize for the misinformation, but I hope you enjoy the video anyway. And one more thing. Technically, his name isn't James Walton. It's just Walton. But, yeah, I'm gonna call him James Walton. Sue me. Just as quickly as Robert Daly gets a little self-esteem boost, he gets that ripped away from him when James Walton comes into the office. He, like, talks down to Robert in front of Nanette and then offers to take Nanette on a company tour, which is great. But before you make the same mistake that I did and you start feeling bad for Robert, he's actually a little insane. Because at the end of the day, he goes home and he takes his little device, puts it on his temple, and he goes to his own specifically modified game that he has on his home computer. Robert Daly is the coder. He is the whole reason that this company exists. So he is able to make his own offline version of the game that he keeps on his personal computer that he plays when he goes home at night. And you would think, okay, you know, a lot of people play video games to unwind at night. Why is that a bad thing? Well, because this video game is where he has cloned the DNA of his coworkers and he uses this to torture them. He uses this virtual reality system that he has created to clone people and to torture them for the wrongdoings that they have committed against him, instead of going to therapy and learning how to build boundaries for himself. You know, that's great. The next day, after we realize that Robert is a bit of a sociopath because he likes to torture people in virtual reality that are real life people, he is going home and dealing with his real life stresses through virtual reality and torturing real life people, but he's torturing their digital copies. So I guess that's okay. Whatever. Nanette offers to make him a coffee the next day, and when she goes to make a coffee, she runs into Shayna, which is another coworker of hers at the office, who is a woman that is trapped in the game simulation that Robert has. And she starts gushing to Shayna about how much she loves Robert Daly's coding. Shayna starts asking her if she has a crush on Robert, and Nanette vehemently denies it. She says, no, like, I do not like him, I like his coding. Like, I'm really admiring his code. And Shayna's reassured by that because she tells Nanette that he can be a little starey. And who overhears this entire conversation but Robert Daly himself? Which, let me tell you this, Robert. All right, you are the CEO of the company. So even if Nanette Cole did like you, legally, this is a situation that would have never been able to happen because it would have been a PR nightmare. You are the CEO. She is one of your underlings. That situation would have never worked. So the fact that you eavesdropped on a conversation, got your feelings hurt over what would have been a legal nightmare for you to deal with is ridiculous. And he decides to steal the lid off of Nanette Cole's coffee cup and clone her into the game. Now that Nanette has been fully cloned into the game, we are following her perspective of being stuck in Robert Daly's personal playground where he is able to call all of the shots and makes all of the rules. And she is breaking down, as I think anybody would. When she ends up finding like the headquarters where everybody is staying at, she starts to really freak out because Shane is asking her what her name is and she's saying, I saw you today. I know you. I met you today. I know all of you. We literally interacted, 2 hours ago? Like, this is not real. I know you guys, right? And they tell her, maybe in the real world, but not here. This is a virtual reality. And they break the news to her that she cannot leave. Just as she's like trying to grapple with all of this, Robert Daly decides to log on for the day to play the game, and Nanette is still losing it. So because Nanette literally says, she said, I'm not playing along with your space fleet nonsense. She doesn't say that word, but YouTube is gonna hate me if I curse. Robert Daly decides to punish her for not playing along by taking away her face, which is an actual Star Trek reference that does happen in one of the episodes, but it causes Nanette to start suffocating because she has no mouth and she has no nose. And Robert Daly tells her, I can keep you like that forever, but, you know, I can let you free if you decide to play along with my game. And so Nanette does agree to play along, and he gives her her face back. And when he is done playing for the day, she is just adamant, we need to get out. And everyone's spirit is kind of broken, but especially James Walton. Like, James Walton's spirit is completely broken. He does not care about trying to escape. And currently in headquarters is Shayna, Elena, which is the receptionist that we saw earlier in the episode. We've got Kabir, and we've got Nate Packer. And they're all members of the team that Robert Daly is forcing them to play along with when he logs on for the game. But when he logs off, they're all just stuck there playing, not even playing along. They're just stuck there. They can't go to the bathroom. They can't sleep. They really don't need to eat. So they're just kind of stuck there waiting for him to log back on so that he can torture them again and make them play along with his game to make himself feel better. Nanette is adamant about making sure that they can escape, and one of the ways that she tries this is by connecting to this aspect of the game where you can invite a friend. I think a lot of games have that, where it's like, hey, you know, send this code to your friend and you might get a discount or you might get extra coins. And so she sends that message to real life Nanette Cole with, it's like 250 characters that she uses to say that they're trapped in the game and that they need help. But Nanette is a rational real-life person who just shows this spam-looking message to Robert Daly and asks what she should do, and he tells her to delete it and ignore it, update her passwords, and then goes onto the ship to torture everybody for daring to try to escape. And so everyone is, you know, very mad. They're like, dude, this is what happens when you try to escape. You try to escape, he tortures you, he punishes you. It reflects bad on all of us. Like, we also end up getting the end of the stick. So you need to stop because we don't want to get punished. We don't want to get turned into a monster. We don't want to get our face stolen, right? But Nanette is adamant. She is not going to stay here. She is not playing along with Robert Daly's game. And honestly, she has more fight than me, because after my face was taken, I think I would have just given up. I would have given up. They also meet in the first time that Nanette is stuck playing this game with Robert, Julian from accounting. Except for Julian is not a human anymore. She is one of the monsters that exists in the Space Force universe. And she's just stuck like that. Like, James goes and has a regular conversation with her. He's, hey, Jillian, how you doing? And she, and it's terrifying. Like, if I had seen that after getting my face stolen and realizing that's what he can do to me if I don't play along, I fear I may have just fallen straight into line. But no, Nanette decides to devise a plan. Now, James Walton is really adverse to this plan, and you're kind of thinking to yourself the whole episode, why are you the one that is the most, like, down and out about the idea of escaping? And it's because James Walton was the very first person to be put into the game. He was the very first person that Robert Daly decided to torture. And it does kind of make sense, because this is probably the first person that started openly disrespecting him, not paying him his dues, not giving him the acknowledgement and credit that he deserves. That doesn't mean that you torture him in virtual reality. Now, James Walton was not breaking. He didn't care, right? This digital clone of him did not care that he was being tortured at all. So one day, real life James Walton brought in his son, and Robert Daly stole a lollipop that the son, Tommy, had been eating and cloned James Walton's son, Tommy, into the game, and then threw Tommy into space. He made James Walton watch his son die so that James Walton would fall in line and do whatever he wanted and play the game. Like, he uses James as a footstool. He is very aggressive, like chokes him out, talks down to him, is very aggressive towards him, treats him basically the way that James treats him in real life, plus physical abuse. James Walton is telling her, number one, even if we escape this game, even if we somehow win, he can clone us back. He has all of our DNA, but it doesn't matter if he clones me back. I don't care about him cloning me. He has Tommy's DNA. He has my son's DNA. So even if we escape virtual reality, he can clone us right back, and he can clone Tommy back. He can clone my son back into this game and torture him over and over and over again. So James Walton's like, I'm not risking that. I am not risking bringing my son back into this game to die again. That's not happening. I can't do that to my child. Nanette tells James, we are going to get that lollipop, but I need y'all to listen to me, and I need y'all to trust me. We are going to blackmail real-life Nanette Cole. They're all wondering, what are you going to blackmail yourself with? She says, I have some pretty interesting pictures that I would not want to see the light of day that I know how to access. So while Robert Daly is in the game, he logs on for the next day. Nanette is playing her role as a perfect Space Force employee. She is ready. She wants to go on a mission, just her and Robert Daly, because she needs to learn the ropes of what it really means to be on Space Force. And he's fallen for it. He's eaten it up, okay? Because, again, he has a very big crush on her. So the fact that she's enthusiastically playing along with his game makes him pretty happy. They go to a planet that has a distress signal. And now that Robert Daly is online, they are able to access Nanette's photos and start sending it to real-life Nanette. Nanette is, of course, freaked out by this, and they call her using Robert Daly's communicator. How do they get the communicator? Because Nanette decides to go swimming on the planet. She, strips off her little uniform, so she's wearing, it's a sports bra. You know, it's a sports bra and underwear. It's very modest. Nothing is happening in this scene that is bad. And when they go swimming, they take the communicator back onto the ship. They call Nanette and they give her very specific instructions on what to do, or these photos will be leaked everywhere. And Nanette, real life Nanette, has a mission. Now Nanette, real life Nanette, calls in for a pizza delivery while she is standing on the balcony of Daly's apartment. Her specific mission was to call a pizza delivery that was supposed to get there in 30 minutes or less, and to go into Robert Daly's house, take the lollipop, and replace the little transporter, the little virtual reality disc, with a dud. And she does just that. She waits till he goes to answer the door for the pizza. She quickly sneaks in. She steals the lollipop. She replaces the dud, and she runs out. She's wondering why the hell she's even doing this, but she just doesn't want these pictures to get out. So she does what she's supposed to, and she runs off. Robert Daly's a little distracted with the dud for 2 seconds. He tries it 2 or 3 times before he busts out his extra replacement that he has and rejoins the game. Robert Daly is all by himself on the planet that Nanette and him went to together, because when the pizza delivery got there, they were on the planet and she got beamed up to the ship because they had to move quickly. They said, the pizza delivery's here, beam me up to the ship. They take her up to the ship and they start flying the ship towards a wormhole. Now this wormhole is the Christmas patch update. Nanette knows this because she was in the real world a lot earlier than everybody else. Everyone else has kind of lost track of time, but Nanette knows, wait a minute, there's going to be an update for Christmas because it's almost Christmas time and it's happening over Christmas break. So we need to fly into that wormhole. One of 2 things is going to happen when they fly into that wormhole. The code that Robert Daly has made is going to be deleted and they are going to join the internet, or they are going to be deleted completely and essentially die. Either one is better than being stuck with Robert Daly, so they decide to start flying towards the wormhole while Robert Daly is stuck on the planet, and when he gets back online, he repairs the ship that is on the planet they visited and starts flying after them. They gotta move quickly because the wormhole is starting to close, the update is almost completely finished, and they have to go through a meteor shower to go and fly through that wormhole and hit an engine just as they are at the entrance of the wormhole. Right? Which is awful. It is heartbreaking. It's like, oh no, we're really not going to be able to escape. And Robert Daly, he's been threatening them this whole time. He is flying after them hot on their heels, ready to make them pay for the fact that they ever thought that they could escape. And Walton makes the ultimate decision to sacrifice himself. He goes into the engine and goes into the actual rockets so that he can repair them, which means that he is going to get blasted by the rockets and probably die. He patches a phone call into Robert's ship and he tells him, I never appreciated you as much as I should.
You were the golden goose and I got fat on all the profits. I was the shiny face of the company and I took advantage of you. I took you for granted. And maybe I do deserve what happened to me, but you killed my son. So I hate you. And he fixes the engine. He starts getting blasted by the rockets and they fly into the wormhole. Now, they did break out of the code. They are now a part of the internet. But Robert Daly's code has been suspected as a rogue code and is completely shut down. Robert Daly can't end the game. As he realizes like everything's getting shut down, he tries to exit game. He said, exit game, and he is stuck in this spaceship where everything is literally shutting down the way you would see like a stage production shutting down, and he is left in complete darkness screaming, exit fucking game, exit game, because he has now lost complete control over the one thing that he deliberately made to have control over. And now everyone on the crew, with the exception of Walton, has freedom in the internet. They are able, even though they are still digital clones, they are at the very least free from Robert Daly to do whatever they want and to play the game, the modern version, however they want. This is one of my favorite episodes because, like with a lot of other episodes, they kind of dupe you a little bit with feeding you this character that you feel sorry for and you maybe can sympathize with, but you slowly start losing that sympathy and you start losing that empathy when you see the depravity of their actions and the things that they do when they think that they can get away with it. Realistically, Robert Daly may have never hurt anyone, and outside of making people uncomfortable with staring at them, he didn't do anything to anybody in real life. But Robert Daly showed that he is a very dangerous, sociopathic, evil person, and the fact that he takes joy in torturing people who, let's face it, definitely could have treated him nicer, but they didn't deserve to be tortured. The next episode that I'm thinking about talking about is either going to be Hated in the Nation, one of my other absolute favorites, or Shut Up and Dance. If you have not seen Shut Up and Dance, please go and watch it. Out of all of the Black Mirror episodes, that is one of the ones that had my jaw on the floor. Absolutely flabbergasted. It was a very intense episode with very minimal new technology as compared to USS Callister or Hated in the Nation. But if you like this video, thank you so much for watching all the way to the end of my incoherent, nonsensical ramble about my favorite show. Not my favorite, let's face it. But I hope you guys will join me next time I decide to talk about a random show that I really like. It'll probably be a Black Mirror episode. Thank you for watching all the way to the end. I really appreciate it. You have a wonderful day, and go watch some Black Mirror. It's pretty good. Bye-bye.